The fifth and final step of the one-handed backhand progressions is to start in the ready position, pivot, turn your shoulders, and get your racket back so that you end up in the body position we started the previous video in, video number 4. And that's going to add the loop to your one-handed backhand. So here I am in the ready position, pivot with the outside foot, turn my shoulders, and I get my racket back, and my racket is angled up like it was in the previous video. And if we watch me shadow the motion, starting in the ready position, you'll see that by doing this, I've now added a loop to the motion. It's very simple, but I've definitely got a loop in there. And the other mechanics haven't changed, same from the previous videos. But again, starting in the ready position, if I do that, now I've got a loop in my one-handed backhand motion. And this is a fundamentally sound one-handed backhand. You don't have to add anything else to this motion if you don't want to. You'll be able to hit a perfectly fine one-hander. Starting in the ready position, I'm going to hit a quote-unquote full backhand, a full one-handed backhand. I'm going to have that loop in there. And the way I get my loop in there, starting in the ready position, if I pivot, turn my shoulders, and then take my racket back so that now, if we freeze it, I'm in the position I was in the previous video, the top of the loop, so to speak. That's going to add the full loop to the motion. So if we rewind it to the ready position and we watch me hit a couple of these at full speed, you'll see that I've got that loop in there now. By pivoting, turning my shoulders, and taking my racket back to the top of the loop, when I drop it down and then swing forward, you'll see that I've got a nice little loop in there, a very basic loop. Let's clip to the back perspective and watch it from here. Again, when I pivot and turn my shoulders, I'm at the top of the loop, and then I drop the racket down and swing forward, and not trying to hit hard yet, still at the service line, just trying to work the technique, but I clearly have a loop in there. Again, a very, very basic loop, and I'm just trying to work the fundamentals, work the technique. Now, once this motion is automatic, from the pivot and the shoulder turn, once you can hit an entire one-handed backhand from the service line, then you can move back to the baseline and try and hit a little bit harder. And that's what this looks like. All my mechanics are the same. I'm just putting a little bit more juice on the tennis ball. Obviously, I have to hit harder to get it over the net, but I want to make sure that nothing else is different. The technique needs to be exactly the same when you're at the service line and when you're at the baseline. You're just doing things a little bit faster, hitting a little bit harder to make sure you get the ball over the net and get it deep enough. From the back perspective, you will be able to watch where I hit some of these tennis balls. Now I'm going cross court, and I've got that loop in there. All my mechanics are the same. It's just very, very basic. I'm not doing anything special. I'm just making sure that my technique is correct. And if you're able to do this, if you're able to hit the ball like I'm doing here, very basic fundamentals, basic technique, well, this is a technically sound one-handed backhand. And now you've got that platform, you've got that foundation where you can start building the shot up and turning it into a big-time weapon.